Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another APR Outdoor Adventures video. If you're new here, make sure you go ahead and subscribe, leave a like, and comment down below on this video. But today we're going to be getting into how to replace this Kenwood KMR-332BT marine digital media receiver from this old Kenwood that's been in this Four Winds 1996 Horizon 200 since 1995.
Let's get a close-up on it real quick.
This new Kenwood outputs 4 times 22 RMS watts. The old one, I have the instruction manual. It looks like it's either 15 or 17, so we're going to be adding basically half of what the old one had to this new stereo system, which if you watched our speaker install video, you know that once we started getting into some of the higher volumes, especially when we were using that Motorola Roadster Bluetooth connector, that it was sounding a little rough. So we're going to hopefully be able to slap this in. We're going to get more power, clearer audio in the higher volumes, and also that Bluetooth connectivity eliminates the Motorola Roadster from, interfering with clean signal. So let's go ahead. We'll show you the old unit that we're getting out of here and replacing, and then we're going to jump into removing the old one and installing this new one. Let's go ahead and get into it. Alright guys, so here you can see we have this Kenwood high power CD receiver. It's the KDC-4003. It's got a CD player, and then it's got your AM, FM tunes on it. So you can see underneath real quick here. That's basically how it's mounted. Got the wires back there. So we're gonna go ahead and get to taking this apart and get this removed and wire up the new unit. Alright, real quickly, when I was going over this stereo just about in the last clip, I noticed that it said 25 by 4 right there for the power watts. So I'm going to go ahead and pop up a graphic right over here on the right side of the screen, but basically that is the total output, and the max output, that's the total max output, and the total max output on this new unit is double that, and the continuous watts on this one is 15 by 4 and the new one is 22 by 4. So we are increasing this by a really increasing amount. Another thing you need to look out on this is make sure that your power grid is able to support extra power, because we're going to have to upgrade on our fuse block down there. This new one is going to be a 10 amp fuse, whereas this old Kenwood is a 5 amp. Alright, so real quick, we're just going to do somewhat of an unboxing here. You can see there is a Sirius XM module that you can attach. I think it's like $100 and some. You can have 2 phones connected at once and switch between the music mix there. It has Android Rapid Charge out of the USB port, I guess. It's made for iPhone and iPod, I guess. On the back, here's some things down at the bottom. And then you can see some of the stuff I've explained up here. You can get the Sirius XM module. Up to 5 Bluetooth devices can be connected to the head of unit at once. You can do some different things with that. It's really all there is on the box. So we'll go ahead and open it up. And pop the top off. You're going to get your wiring harness, which we're going to go through how to wire this up. I'm probably going to do exactly what the old one was. So there's your wiring harness. We get some hardware in here. We'll see exactly what that's for. And then you get a microphone for your wireless Bluetooth and calling and all that. You have some of the radio mounts, and then in here you're going to get an instruction manual. This looks exactly like the instruction manual from the old one, so you can see nothing's really changed from the 90s. Here's the new instruction manual here. Hang on to that. As you saw, I have the one from 95. It was kept on to, so we have that one. So, you know, always keep this. It's always good to go back, because I was also able to go back in here and look up the information on that power and what it's like. So always hold on to your manuals, warranty information, in case anything ever goes wrong. And then here we're gonna pull out this stereo. Comes some nice styrofoam on it in a bag. And there she is. This is all backlit and stuff like that, which will look cool. There's your mic plug, and I'm not 100% sure what this is, but I think this is for the remote that you can mount somewhere around your boat if you want an external remote to be able to hit pause, play, stuff like that. I think that's what that's for. And then you also have your sub, or if you're gonna put an amp in here for subs.
This is so you can wire it to the back of your boat and have a control on your back deck.
Yeah, and
or your
then
back patio.
That's antenna, and then here's where your wiring harness goes in. As you can see, 10 amp fuse. So make sure you look at what your boat currently has. This one we are going to have to upgrade the fuse, but on our fuse block, all the wires are the same gauge, and some of them are hooked on to 10 amp fuses and some are on 5. So we're just going to go ahead and swap out the fuse and we'll be good to go. But what we're going to go ahead and do is get into taking out that old unit and seeing what we got to do as far as wiring goes so we can get this new one in. Alright, so now here we are at the fuse panel. You can see right here, I don't know if you can see that well, but radio, 5 amps. So we're going to go ahead and just pull the 5 amp fuse here for the radio. That way we cut all power, since we also just have to replace that thing anyways, because we need 10 amps now. So we'll get rid of that, and then the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and remove the old Kenwood wiring harness. Very easy. And then up here we have a wire harness loom that is for the boat. So we're going to try, and then we pulled that out as well. So basically all we have to do now is pull all these caps off, and then we'll put wire butts on them. And well, I'm gonna have to look at it and see what this exactly is looking like, and then we will go from there once I look at it. But I think we'll just have to take those caps off and wire the stuff up, and we'll be able to put it back in here once we take this radio out and get the new one in here. But I'm going to go ahead and remove this screw, and then once I'm done, we'll try and pull this radio out of here real quick. I'm just going to disconnect the antenna, and then I'm going to get the screw undone so that we can pull it out. Alright, I got that screw undone, so now we're going to look and see if we can't push it out. But I'm not sure if that's gonna work. I think we gotta get those keys on the side put in so that we can push it out. So I'm gonna grab those so that we can try and do that. All right, now with those keys installed that will pick up that little lock right there, I got them on both sides. I'm gonna have Alex go ahead and pull out this radio if he can grab it. See, it doesn't exactly want to come out. It might be stuck on something. Hold on, my finger. It just keeps hitting the wheel. There we go. There. Now we got the empty hole there.
This wants to fall out though.
Radio's removed, but it does look a little loose, so we're gonna see if we can figure out what's wrong there, and then we're gonna start wiring. Alright, so I was able to get this off. You see there's our radio mount. Apparently these plastic pieces on the side broke at some point, so that's what that looks like. But once you get that off, you're going to want to bend these tabs out of the way so that you can pull the metal surround through. So I'm going to go ahead and bend those, and then once I've bent them, then we'll go ahead and pull it out. Alright, so I got the old enclosure off there. First off, even the enclosures, like, just look at the size difference. That is nuts. But then I got the new one mounted up. Got the tabs folded in. If we go ahead and just simply look at the radio, look how much smaller that is. It's more powerful and smaller. So here's the side-by-side comparison there. It's crazy how much changes and how much smaller things get and how they still get better. But we're gonna go ahead and start wiring, and then once we get that all wired, we'll be able to throw this in there and get everything hooked up and see how much better this new one is. Alright, so we got the new stereo mounted in that surrounding. Alex is working on that right now. We'll explain here in a minute what I went ahead and did with this bracket that was holding the old one. You see it was there. I moved it forward because it's a lot smaller because this one doesn't have the CD player. So went ahead and screwed that in there, bent it around. This was in the way, so we went behind it. There's plenty of room behind it, so it shouldn't affect that. I mean, it shouldn't affect it anyways. Got that locked in. The radio doesn't go anywhere. If we move up here to what Alex is working on, you can see this side has cracked out.
Yeah, it's a little bit messed up.
And this side honestly looks like it could do soon. Not really wanting to get a new surround. I like the way this one looks. So we're going to try and make it fit, but that's why I went ahead and kept this, because it does slide around a little over there. But this will keep it in place. If you see right here, I'm trying to push it, and it keeps it right there. So we'll get them locked in. I think we might try some washers up there to see if we can bite onto some of this other part, you know, right there. See if we can bite on that. But yeah, we're gonna move on to working on that, and then the wiring, and hopefully we should have this in soon and be able to listen to some music. Alright, so I've been comparing the two diagrams between the new speaker, or the new stereo, and the old one, and I have here the old stereo harness and the boat loom, or the loom that connects to the boat. So I have that, and then I also have the new harness here. I've been doing some conversating with Gemini just to make sure that what I'm getting ready to do is correct. So what we're going to do here on the power wires, so for the black, red, and yellow on this one that goes into the loom, we're going to put female ends onto the power wires that are coming from the boat, and then the power wires on the stereo harness will get the male connectors, and then we'll do the reverse for the speaker wire, since the power for the speakers comes out of the stereo and goes into this loom over here. So I'm getting to get to cutting and splicing, and you see I have 2 wires per speaker to do, so we're gonna be here for a good bit doing some splicing, but at least I'm not having to lay down head up trying to work up there, so this should be a lot easier. I'm gonna reuse this boat harness, and hopefully that works and we don't catch on fire, please. So we're gonna get going here.
I hear you been asking about me, where I've been and where I sleep. It's hard to find me if you really want to. Turns past that takes a cool side.
Alright, halfway through here, got the boat loom done. All the speakers, those were 20 gauge wires, so those went ahead and got red connectors on them. The ignition wire was also 20 gauge, so that is what I went ahead and put on it as well. But then these, the power and the ground, which is the yellow and the black, those got blue because obviously those are running a lot more, they're thicker wire, so they have a thicker base in here to crimp down onto. So the loom part is done, just got to do the wiring side for the new Kenwood, and we'll be in business. So back to the time lapse.
Same bobcat, same moon boots, trying to outrun the thought of you. But understand the truth, don't stop. You can't live in a town this small. You can change your mind, but not your past. Every mile just feels like moving fast.
Alright, so now we have the new Kenwood stereo plug done here. All of the speaker wires have red females on them, and the power and ground wires have male ends. And the reason you do this is because on this one it's receiving the power, so you want the male ends, because if something comes unplugged, this male end can't be giving power, the female end is. And then it's vice versa for the speakers. This is giving out the power to the speakers, so you want them to be like that just in case something comes unplugged. So now I'm going to join this together to the loom, and then once we're done there, we're going to tighten down this stereo and plug it in from underneath, and then we'll go ahead and power it up. I moved on, but not too far, just down the road from who we are. Alright, now we're done. You can see I got all the positive and negative speaker wires good, and then I have the power wires all done, and you can see here this is going to go into the new Kenwood. This will plug back into the factory loom. So now I'm going to go ahead and get under, and we're going to put this together and then see if we can power her up. Alright, so here we have the stereo plugged in right there, and then all the wires are here, and then up here we got the factory plug back put together. So this is what it looks like. I'm gonna tuck it up eventually so it's not in the way, hitting knees while we're riding around. But the last thing we need to do is upgrade the fuse on that fuse block back there from a 5 amp up to a 10. Alright, so I got a 10 here. We're gonna go ahead and put it right here where the radio goes. And just like that, we should be ready to go test out up above. Alright, so as soon as I powered it on, it looks like it went into a mode here, turned on. So I'm going to read the manual as I do this, just make sure I do it right, and then I'll get back to you guys and show you some stuff once I get this all hooked up. Alright, so we got the radio all installed, and I've got most of the settings figured out, so I figured I'd show you guys real quick. So over here is the power button, so we'll go ahead and turn it on. You hold it and it goes on. You see we got the phone light, call light, you got your power button, volume knob. You got a few buttons for skipping tracks and stuff like that, as well as some presets for the radio. That's the back arrow. You got your USB here, and along with your aux. Yeah, that's basically it. And then if you go, your menu is found by clicking this center button. So you got your audio control, display controls, your tuner settings, Bluetooth mode settings, the remote, which actually it looks like there might be some sort of an app or something. Yeah, so I might look into the app and stuff like that. I actually just found that out scrolling along. You got your clock control as well, because you can have that right there, and there's also, you can put in the date, so you can have all that different stuff in there. But there is a clock on this, and then we're kind of back to the beginning. So you can choose the colors. I chose blue, obviously, because this is a 4 winds. So and it scrolls as you're listening along. The radio stations, you know, do that as well, and they say what channel you're on and all that. So overall, it's a nice speaker, or a nice stereo. You know, I wish maybe it were a little louder, but for $139, honestly, you can't beat it. I put Bluetooth in the boat and updated what was older. It does sound a lot more crisp at some of the higher audio levels. Is it perfect? No, but will it do? Yeah, I think it's going to do great, but there's a chance we might be going out on the lake soon, so I'll throw in some clips at the end of this video if we end up getting out, and especially if we end up getting out at night, we're going to throw on those speakers, and we'll see what they look like in the dark. But yeah, this stereo, honestly, not too bad for 130 bucks.
Rolling up over black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella down. After her there ain't no. Rolling up over black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming down. Wanna take her on a jet. I think she's feeling me, turn it.
A little shaky on the bass, probably need to fix that a little, but here we're gonna go all the way up. And that's just absolutely obnoxious. That is going to wrap up this video, this series really. Thank you guys for watching. That was us putting in the Kenwood KMR-332BT in this 1996 4-winch 200 Horizon, along with putting in those Rockville speakers, which you saw early in the first video. But yeah, that's going to end it off. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any boating adventures. Leave a like on this video. If you have any questions or just want to leave a comment down below. And without further ado, that's going to end out this video. So we will see you guys in the next one.